Morning guys, it's April the 18th. I'm Henry Green from London Trading Group. I'm going to run through what we're looking for in the markets for today's trading session. So start with euro dollar. There's a few interesting things to show you in the other pairs because we've had considerable gaps over the weekend, so I'm just going to talk to you through those. But let's start with euro. So euro's held quite nicely for me down here. This is a 127 which is bounced off, which we talked about, and we've rallied perfectly back to the 38 up at 113.20. So that was a key zone for me. But on the weekly now, what it looks for me is like this is an indecision bar after a rejection candle. So we said that it would sell off last week after the weekly close up at resistance up there, and we've just continued to play this downside, and it's continued on down, and we've now rebounded. So where do I think this is going? Well, we had a bit of a high test on Friday, so for me to play this on the bullish side, I would have preferred for a slightly more bullish close on Friday, and we didn't get it. So what I'm probably going to look for today is another indecision day. Maybe we'll go sideways, and then I'm going to look for my entry to the long side. So I think last week's weekly close was I think it was an indecision week almost. We've obviously come off quite significantly, quite a bearish week, but the rally from the bottom I quite like, and this sort of potential morning star formation on the daily also looks to me like this could rally. So I'm going to wait for maybe a trend line break or maybe this past market angle break for me to then look to take the long side of this. But certainly for the time being, we are completing this, so we are looking for the short side. It has to be that way. So we have completed the 38 pullback, and now we are looking for that move down to the D. So if we just bang the fibs in here, let's see where we could potentially look to rally to. No pullback there, we didn't hit that, so we have finally reached the D up here, and so that was the D. So we're now back at the 38, so we could potentially see this rally maybe up towards the 130.60, which at 113.60, which I've got a level up at. Other than that, I'd be looking for a trend line break, and then we see this come lower. So that's what I'm looking for euro dollar, I think, for today. Cable's an interesting one. We are just going sideways now. Basically, we're just kind of grinding sideways. I've got this in a bit of a channel. If you look at this as a big kind of channel, I certainly think we are kind of holding. We're going sideways at the moment in cable. Now, where does it look like on the week? Now, on the week, it was a big rejection from the highs of 140, sort of when it got up towards 144, 143.50, wherever the high was. Where did we rally up to last week? Up to 143.40. Okay, so we've managed to get up there. Now, for me, cable showing some signs of strength. We've gone through this trend line here, and we are sort of going sideways, and we're holding nicely on this support. So if we do manage to go through here, then you've got to open up the short side, and that's what I'm going to be looking for in cable. I think that this still looks like a nice short. It's just the bounce off the rejection candle from the week last week was a sure sign, and Friday's high test as well. So I do think this could be a continuation, and we do press on lower. So that's what I'm going to be looking for cable. Again, maybe a trend line break here for this then to trade lower. So dollar yen gap down on the back of the meeting in Doha, on the back of the crude oil, and no agreement was made on the oil freeze. So this is gap lower. Also, someone's come out, let me read you the exact statement, and said that including the US Treasury, Jack Lew, that disorderly currency price movements aren't desirable, but the other G20 members oppose any intervention. So the intervention down here was happening, as you guys would have seen, in dollar yen. Basically, Bank of Japan was stepping in and pushing this higher, but they've said that it's undesirable, and so the currency's been pumped again. So dollar yen strengthened. So this is now down back at support again. 108 sort of area is a really good level of support in dollar yen. If we take that gap into account, where are we on the fibs? Let's have a look. Well, this is the 15-minute fib. I mean, it's difficult to play big gaps like this, and I'm not completely sure I'm going to play it, but I think maybe you've got to look for the gap fill, especially down at support here. Looks like quite a straightforward play. So we have gone through this counter trend line now, and we are on our way down. So I mean, the next target for me down on this one is we're looking down towards 107, 106.80, and then down to 105.80. So that looks like a continuation, to be fair, in dollar yen. I would prefer it to fill the gap before we got there, but what we could do is overrun and then bounce. And when we do the true bounce, that's when we close the gap. So that's what I'm going to be playing in dollar yen. I think if you do continue on down, then that's probably the easiest play to the downside. Dollar CAD's gapped higher, obviously, on the back of that oil news, the fact that no agreement was made. So we are now looking potentially for the top side on dollar CAD. Maybe this gap won't be filled for a long time, or maybe we do just blip lower. The gap isn't that far to fill now. We've only got sort of 50 pips to fill in dollar CAD. So where are we on the week? Well, we managed to get down to the one. Did we manage to get down to the 118? Yeah, we managed to get down to the 118. So without a 38 pullback, we're down at the 118, which is a good level. We're down nearly down towards the 61.8 retracement of the whole move. So that's quite interesting in dollar CAD. So we could now see this as a potential bounce zone. We've gone through this good 60-minute counter trend line that I had in. We were trending on this quite nicely. We broke through it. So what I'll do now is I'm going to put this one in. Let's have a quick look. See where this leads us, because we could find quite a nice easy trade out to this trend line before it has to make a decision. So it could be quite a nice easy move out to that. We're not quite there yet, so I'm going to probably fib the top side, see where we end up, and probably look for the long side. Obviously, I'd prefer it to fill the gap before we go there, and certainly 128.65 is probably quite a good zone to be getting in long again for this one. So that's what I'm going to be looking for dollar CAD. Aussie is gap lower as well. So commodities didn't like this news. Obviously, we've gapped considerably lower, but again, as it always seems to do, we've held nicely on this trend line and on this moving average as well. So it wasn't happy to break this 180 moving average that we had in. We kind of closed below it, but then we've popped straight back through it again. So if I make sure that this line's correct, you'll probably find out that it isn't, because therefore we probably held perfectly on this trend line. So if we just put this in, make sure the line's correct. Okay, so now it is. Okay, so we did close through it, but then it was a morning star, and we have since rallied. So I like that now potentially in the Aussie. I think that's quite a good show of strength, the fact that we've held there. But again, if we make a lower high, and if we manage to close below the 180 moving average, then this is going to go lower. How did it close on the week? It was a very, very bullish week for the Aussie. Closed really, really nicely. Managed to close right above that resistance, and I do see this as a breakout now, and we are going to see this rally. I think 77.50 still remains quite a good sell zone. If we manage to get up there, then I think it's a good sell zone, and certainly that's what I'm going to be looking for. Maybe just an impulse sell up there. I think maybe just that you get that initial reaction, that initial bounce up there, and then we come off. And let's have a look at the Kiwi finally. The Kiwi, what's the week look like? Okay, the Kiwi on the week has closed. Nice. Okay, so it's closed back above that level, that 68.40 level that we liked. It's closed back above there on the week now, and we could see this rally. And I like that up to. I've got a really good zone in the Kiwi. Potentially, let's have a look at where it is. Just load my weekly charts. So I think maybe up towards 70.70. I like that up to. The Kiwi on the week. So if you get a good entry in that would reject it perfectly. If you get a good entry in that one as well, I like Kiwi up to 77.70. So let's have a look at that one as well. 70.70. It closed nicely on Friday, and I think that probably does rally, and we could now see this next level up 70, and then through there we would again probably look into that 70.70 zone. Okay guys, I hope that's been useful. As I said, I'll be back tomorrow with another technical analysis of the markets and a market update. Click subscribe to never miss a video again. Please feel free to leave any comments below, and happy trading. Thanks very much.